We're going to give you $1,000 a month for 12 months with no strings attached. So the easiest way to do this is to have a lottery. I'm talking about $12,000. Y'all ready? That could change generational lives. I gotta pray right quick. My grandmother was born a sharecropper, and only through other social service organizations, she was able to pivot our family out of poverty. Can I get Kajania, please?
Okay.
Hi, Urania. How are you, precious? Do you know I'm calling you this morning?
No, ma'am.
Oh, we had our lottery this morning.
Shit.
Why am I calling you, Lakeisha?
I hope you finna tell me that my name got picked.
Yes, pull the car over.
The whole thing is like $1,200.
Well, Arlene, this is $1,000 a month. So, sweetheart, guess what? You definitely have $1,200 to pay for school now.
Income inequality in America has been steadily growing since the 1970s. The racial wealth gap hasn't budged. The median black family has 10% the wealth of what a white family has. The U.S.'s social support system is, by many accounts, broken, and we're facing a future, if not already a present, where robots and automation are taking away jobs. For these and other reasons, the idea of just giving people cash, what's sometimes called a universal basic income, is gaining some traction.
We should explore ideas like universal basic income to make sure that everyone has a cushion to try new ideas.
I mean, you'd have something called universal basic income.
Our next guest is a 2020 Democrat candidate for the presidency. His idea is give citizens between the ages of 18 and 64, all of them, $1,000 each from the government.
Guaranteed income pilots are being developed in Chicago, in Stockton, California, and here in Jackson, Mississippi, a very segregated city in the South and one of the poorest states in the nation. The project here is called the Magnolia Mothers Trust. All the lottery entrants were African-American moms living in extreme poverty, because that's the demographic that Aisha's organization usually works with.
We work directly with families that live in federally subsidized affordable housing. Hi! Can we come in? We were very clear that for us, we were going to name the fact that it was African American women because this race and this class of individuals have been so marginalized that we now have to come in and very explicitly get to equity.
Yeah, a little party.
From their previous work, they learned that the number one need here was just cash that they could spend as needed.
Hopefully save up enough to get up out of here and get in a house.
Well, that's a good plan and a strategy. I agree, but I can't tell y'all what to do with it.
The average income of all the recipients is just $11,000 a year.
And let me, be clear, that $11,000 includes all of your vouchers and subsidies. So we have families that actually have no cash.
When you're a single parent and you're on a set income, and you have bills, and you have kids, and you have to make sure you have money to get them what they need or call people, ask them for it, and they don't want to do it because you don't have the money because you're not working and you're trying to take care of 4 kids. It's not easy at all.
So while this $12,000 is in a way doubling their income, it doesn't mean they're going to get richer. In fact, they're in a risky position because all their benefits will immediately change.
The reality is in this country, it is virtually impossible to exit poverty. And that is because all of our benefits are punitive. So whenever you have an increase in income, your benefits automatically decrease.
With my husband working and this income coming in, they're going to raise our rent. They're going to go down on my SNAP. But I feel like getting this benefit here will enable me to take up the slack, whether it's higher or lower.
Historically, government assistance programs have had very strict stipulations about how that money can be spent. For instance, you might be provided housing to live in, but that housing is going to be where the government puts it and maintained how they decide. So the real shift here is that these individuals will have the freedom to choose what they want to do with this $1,000 a month. Although much of that may go to addressing the changing costs to their housing or their food.
And we decided on $1,000 a month because we wanted to make sure that we had enough support to actually resolve any of the harm that we were going to do by providing cash, but also make sure that our moms had the benefit of the cash so that they could do whatever it was that they needed to do for themselves and their families. Over here.
To underscore how risky that harm is, though, 110 moms were eligible to enter the lottery, but only 37 people decided to enter their names. The project is privately funded. This isn't taxpayer money. And it's the same group coordinating Stockton and Chicago, the Economic Security Project, co-chaired by a guy named Chris Hughes, who also co-founded Facebook.
You know, if I go to a cocktail party or if I catch up with a friend I haven't seen in a long time and they ask me what I'm working on, and I say, well, we work on providing a guaranteed income to the people who need it most. People say, you're just giving them money? And you really trust people? And we say, actually, you can.
Really, another one of my goals is to get on my feet and try to find me a job through this 12-month process. My health doesn't allow me to do like a lot of stand-up jobs or restaurant jobs.
Well, I just enrolled in school. You know, I work at nighttime, but I got 4 kids, so, you know what I'm saying, everything I do, I have to work for it myself.
Presentation is everything, so I could find me some nice little clothes and stuff to wear to job interviews. I'll be able to have my own gas, you know, to put in my vehicle to get to my job interviews and get to my job.
The idea that we're giving people money without strings attached, without telling them what to do with it, has been a very difficult concept.
My children, their Medicaid is inactive. I'm just taking this step out here now to go ahead on and see if I can get them back on today. I'm just doing it while I have a little free time on my hands and a little gas, and then my vehicle is running, so.
We don't trust poor people to know what it is that they need to do. And we're saying, we do.
The backers of the program would argue that, in some ways, the U.S. is already doing this, giving cash, no strings attached, back to low and middle income families through their tax returns.
In the US, we actually already have the world's largest cash transfer program. It's called the Earned Income Tax Credit. And we know a lot about what people do with that money and how it changes long-term trajectories. Most folks who get the money work just as much as they did before. Politicians, not just on the left, but on the right, have loved the Earned Income Tax Credit.
To those who contest that a guaranteed income would be too expensive at scale, Chris points to the Trump administration's recent tax breaks to benefit the wealthy.
If we can find the money for corporations in the 1%, why can't we find the money for working people?
Even though it's exciting to see the project get off the ground, it also isn't easy.
Yeah, it's beautiful and it's really sweet, but there are so many other names in this bucket. So it's really hard, and it does not feel as good as I thought it was. Because I know we have to also make the phone calls to those that didn't get it. And I know what that need looks like. So it's really, really hard. But anyway, but it's exciting. So yeah, all right. So that's that.
This program is small, just 16 people for a year. But a guaranteed income is now a tool being explored in American cities to address systemic poverty. In Jackson, the pilot is specifically for African American moms, but in other pilot projects coming soon to different cities, the criteria for entry will vary, although it's not likely to be universal, as in literally everyone.
I don't actually think it should be a universal basic income. I think what we need is to stabilize the lives of those in poverty and in the middle class, and we know that cash is the most powerful way to help them.